Today I'm going to go through the process of upgrading my ASUS RT-AC86U router powered by Merlin to the newest version out. First of all, I'm going to log into my router. First thing I notice is that this blinking amber exclamation mark. What this actually says is that there is a new version of firmware that is available for my router. The current version that I'm running is firmware version 386.7. So we're going to go to the administration page and we're going to see what is the current version that is available for my router. So I would select the firmware upgrade tab and I will check for the latest firmware version. It would actually go out to the ASUS site and check for what is the latest version available. So it came back. So the latest version, as you can see here, is 386.7_2. So that's the latest version that is out there. So let's first of all take a look and see what is the new update entails. We would select the click on the link and it would come up and tell you what is included or the release notes for the new latest firmware available. So what is updated since the last previous version? It's OpenSSL to 1.1.1Q. What also is updated to the RT-AX86U driver and SDK update to the latest upstream version, RT-AX88U and GTAX 11,000 radio firmware downgraded to the previous version. There was a few fixes. The fixes, some ISPs would fail to allocate a proper IPv6 prefix. Packet checksum errors logged when using DNS filter in router mode. Router mode will no longer use DNAT except for newer HND 5.04 models. And an example of those models are the GT-AX6000 or XT12. There are also fixed some SSH clients would end up with an incorrect path value, and OpenVPN client wouldn't get updated routing tables if an OpenVPN server was stopped and started while OpenVPN clients are connected. So to actually go and download that package, we will select visit download site. And we will select release. And as we can see, the latest release for our router, which is the RT-AC86U, is 386.7_2, and it was released on the 24th of July 2022, and the actual size is 71.5 megabytes, and it has been downloaded just over 2,000 times. So we're going to download that package right now. It says my download will start shortly. Okay, and it's actually downloading right now. So it's just going to take just about a minute to download. My internet seemed to be slowing down just a little bit. Okay, while that is downloading, I would go back to my router, and it's a very good practice to make sure that you do a backup of your configuration. So on the same administration page, we would select the tab Restore Save Upload Settings. So the options that we need is that we're going to be saving settings. So let's click on the Save Settings tab. That is going to download a configuration file. Also, what we want to also download is the GFFS partition, which I have configured on my router. Just in the event if something goes wrong, we have backups that we can restore our router to its previous state. Okay, so it seems as if our download is completed. Okay, yes it is. So we're going to go to the location, and we are going to extract the zip file. Okay, so this is the extracted zip folder. So there are a number of files inside there. First of all, the change log, which gives us information that we just checked out in terms of what is new in this particular version as compared to what was the previous version. Okay, so this log file basically gives you a change log of all the previous versions that was available and what was included in each revision. So it's very long. Okay. The second item is the README by Merlin. It's just some README notes about what the Merlin firmware is about, the ASUS RT Merlin firmware is about, and it gives you the supported devices that it currently supports. And you can see the RT-AC86U router is there. It also gives information of what is no longer supported and some additional information on features of what ASUS Merlin adds over the original firmware. Okay. Then we have the actual firmware itself, which is 79 megabytes. And we have a checksum that validates that the current firmware has not been altered in any way when you're running a checksum check. Okay, so we would go back to our firmware upgrade tab, and what we would do is we would select the manual firmware update option. So we'd select upload. It would ask us where the firmware file is. So we'd select it from our folder. Make sure we select the correct file, which is correct. Select open, and it would begin to apply the firmware. So it's doing its pre-checks to verify that the firmware file supplied is not corrupted or does not have any sort of problems while it was being downloaded. Right now the firmware is actually upgrading. It says please wait about 3 minutes. It says do not power off your RT-AC86U while upgrade is in progress. If you do, this will more or less brick your router. Also, it is recommended to make sure that you are hardline or hard connected to the router and not using the wireless connection, as this can cause a problem if the connection is lost within while the firmware update is being updated. So it's highly recommended to make sure that you're connected via a direct Ethernet cable to the router. Normally the process would not take very long, so we would just verify that everything is functioning as well. It normally does not take very long in the event that it has to reboot. It only takes a few seconds. What I would do is I would put a continuous ping to know when my router is available. Okay, so it's at 100%. I would just give it a minute before trying to log back in. Okay, let's do a refresh to make sure that the router is back up and running. Okay, so now that we're logged back into the router, as you can see, we're on the new firmware version 386.7/2, and we seem that everything is functioning correctly. Okay, so we are all good. So it shows the latest firmware, which is fine. All right, so that's about it for our firmware upgrade. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.